I've been asked a bazillion times to summarize Howard Zinn essay People's History of the United States, so here goes. It's a landmark book that tells U.S. history from the bottom up, first published in 1980, updated in later editions. So instead of focusing on presidents and General Zinn, who was a historian and activist, focuses on how ordinary people, indigenous people, enslaved people, workers, immigrants, women, anti-war activists, how they have shaped and resisted the injustices of American history. His core thesis is that American history is a story of conflict between elites, who are always trying to acquire more wealth and power, and the people who resist them and fight for their rights and dignity. And Zinn is openly interpretive. He wants to highlight the injustice and the resistance. He's not trying to be neutral. Here are some of the major through lines. The colonization of the Americas and the dispossession of indigenous peoples. Starting with Columbus and the conquest and the resistance. The rise of slavery and its abolition and the unfulfilled promises of Reconstruction. The labor uprisings of the Gilded Age, which he calls the other Civil War, as well as the rise of populism and socialism. The Spanish-American War and U.S. imperialism in the Philippines. The two world wars and the rise of dissent and civil liberties. The limits of the New Deal and the persistence of labor power. Cold War anti-communism and U.S. interventions abroad. The Civil Rights Movement, Black Power, the Feminist Movement, the LGBTQ movement, the anti-war movement, Vietnam, and then into the late 20th century, growing inequality, mass incarceration, globalization, and then into the early 2000s in later editions. It's a big sprawling narrative, but it's all connected by this theme of the conflict between elites and the people. Why does it matter? It's hugely influential in classrooms and public debate. It helped popularize social history and movement-centered narratives. Why is it controversial? Historians have criticized it for presenting a selective and sometimes inaccurate account of the past. They argue that Zinn's focus on oppression and his sometimes Manichaean vision of elites versus the people gets in the way of a more complex and textured understanding of American history. Some have also accused him of underplaying the role of reform, pluralism, and contingency in the American story. But whether you agree with him or not, Zinn's moral vision and commitment to social justice remain powerful. If you want a longer or shorter version of this, if you want to compare it to a different book or author, or if you want to suggest some companion books to pair with it, let me know in the comments below.